Hello everybody and welcome back to Blender 2.78. This is Sorcerer Studios, and in today's video we will be learning how to model a low poly pine tree. So if you like this type of content, please be sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. So without further ado, let's begin. So first we have our starter cube. We're going to delete that. And we are going to hit Shift A to add a cylinder mesh. And let's increase the vertice count to something like, let's say 40 perhaps. That makes it a little bit more smooth. And actually we can hit the smooth option for shading if we want to. I am going to select that. So this is the trunk of our pine tree, and we are going to scale it so that it looks more like a pine tree trunk. So now let's hit Tab to go into edit mode. And we are going to select the face mode here. Right click the very top face and then hit S to scale it down like this. And then let's just drag it up a little bit so that it looks a little bit more like a trunk. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to go back into object mode. We are going to do Shift A again, and we are going to place another cylinder. And this is going to be the first layer of the branches of the pine tree, which will be the leaves. So what we're going to do is, okay, so actually let's get rid of this and add it again, because once you transform basically any object, you cannot edit these parameters here. So before moving it or scaling it or doing anything to that, we have to edit these parameters because they will go away. So for vertices, let's switch this to 50 just so that it looks a bit smoother. So we're now going to move this up, and we're going to go into edit mode, and let's right click this bottom side and scale it up. Oh, one more thing. I am a bit sick right now, so if I cough once or twice in the video, please cut me some slack. I'm currently getting over a cold right now. Okay, so now that we have that done, let's select the top face and let's scale it up like that. So this is going to be the bottom layer of our pine tree. So let's go back into object mode. And one quick way that we can create more layers is to hit Shift D to duplicate it, and we will hit Z to move it up along the Z axis. And we are going to make this one a little smaller. There we go. Well, actually let's make it linearly smaller. So we will hit S and then 0.8. So basically every single layer will be 0.8 the size of the one below it. That will make it look like a smooth transition from big to small. Okay, so we're going to do that again. Shift D, hit Z, and we'll move it up, let's say there. S, 0.8, there we go. And let's do it again. Shift D, Z, move it up a little bit. And then S, 0.8. Whoops. 0.8. Why is that happening? S 0.8. Okay, there we go. Not sure what was going on there. Okay, so let's do that a couple more times. Actually, let's go into the... Let's hit numpad 1 and then 5 to switch to orthographic view. And let's do it again. Shift D, Z, up a little bit, S 0.8. Move it up a little bit. Shift D, Z, move it up a little bit. S 0.8. And I suppose now we have enough that we can finish with a cone. So we're just going to do Shift D once again. Z, move it back up a little bit. Now in edit mode, we hit Tab. We're just going to make this very small. And let's move it up a bit so that it looks like a cone. Alright. So that is the modeling of our tree. In fact, actually this cone looks a bit too tall, so let's do SZ to move it down a bit. Okay. Okay, so that is our pine tree. That is the 3D model. So now what we're going to do is we are going to texture this. So this could basically be done in Blender Render or Cycles Render, but for all of you Unity users out there, Cycles Render does not really work with Unity, so we'll have to use Blender Render. So let's go over to this panel and select the material panel, which is right here, and we are going to hit new for a new material. Okay, so let's texture the trunk first. So in diffuse, we're just going to see if we can get a nice brown color. And as you can see, the top of the tree is changing to this color, but we will change that later or soon. So yeah, I think that's a good wood texture. So we will change this to wood. There we go. And we will apply that to the trunk right here. And while we're at it, let's add the green material to represent the leaves. So leaves. In diffuse, let's get rid of wood so that the rest of the tree only has the leaf material. And let's make this a little darker, perhaps. Let's see. Okay, that's a good texture right there. And for specular, we're going to choose the intensity down to 0 so that we don't get a reflection. In fact, one other way to make it look better is to bring the intensity a little bit up and then just change it to green so that it's not just a white specular look. Okay, so we have that. So now we are just going to go to each layer. Let's not hit new material. Let's go to leaves. So we're just going to do that for every single one. Almost done. Okay, so that is our low poly pine tree in Blender. So let's make this a little bit prettier. So what we're going to do first is to select the entire tree. So box select, and we are going to do Control J to create just one object. And now let's do Shift A, Mesh, and let's add a plane to make it a ground. Alt G to bring it back to center. There we go. And let's give this a brown material, but not really the exact same as the bark on the tree. So yeah, kind of like that. So you know what? No, let's make it green, actually. Yeah, okay, there we go. So now let's duplicate the tree. Just make a nice little forest here. Let's select every single tree. And pretty soon we have our forest. Whoops, not that. GY, Shift D, GY. Alright, there we go. We have a little forest in Blender. And while we're at it, let's make the horizon color blue. There we go. So now we can render this. Let's see what happens. Okay, well, there is our low poly forest in Blender. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and be sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye!